Alright, what's up everyone? Welcome back to the channel on YouTube. Today we're talking about the Houston Rockets, one of the best teams in the NBA so far this season. One of actually only 3 teams to be in top 5 in offense and defense on cleaning the glass. Of course the Thunder are on it and the Nuggets are on it, who we talked about in the last video. Their bench has been incredible as well. So just the Rockets, they've been shooting great of course, but their main guys, Jabari, Sengun, Durant, and Amen Thompson, they're all shooting like really good this season. In this game in particular, they all shot above 50% in the game. But and they have good chemistry between each other. You know, they know their role. You know, Jabari's more of a spot up slasher. Amen can handle the ball, but he's a good slasher and excels in this dunker spot area. Sengun has been expanding his range, more 3-pointers this season, almost 3 to 4 3-pointers attempts this season, up from like 1.5 attempts in the last couple of years. He's expanding his range. And then, of course, KD, we know this is his best role, I feel like, just scoring in isolation when they need a bucket, one-on-one scoring. And his assists are actually on a career low, 3 point something. So, he's just doing his role in the offense, and everybody knows their role, and it's all working really well. We always saw in the first game, double overtime game against the Thunder. So they've given the Thunder their hardest test so far as well this year. In terms of a great team, we know of course Thunder lost the game also, but against these Blazers actually. So this is another good team. Blazers are a good team. They're a solid team. They always give you a good fight, especially this year. But of course we're focusing on the Rockets this season. So let's take a look at some of the clips from the first quarter when they scored 41 points in that first quarter. And like I said, all 4 guys, and of course Josh Okogie has been playing well as well in his role as well. So let's take a look at some of these clips. First, we just got a Sengun, pretty much ISO. He's just gonna go straight against Klingon. Goes to it mid range, hit a little nice, fadeaway jumper off 1 foot. He almost disguises it with that, post up on Shaden Sharp. I don't know if he's trying to get Okogie or Durant getting a back cut, but Sengun just decides to decoy, take it on his own. He's comfortable in that shot. He's comfortable more and more as the season goes on in his shot. So, they're playing well. This time KD, like I said, ISO scoring. That's his specialty. One of the best, 1v1 scorers of all time. And we know that he can hit tough shots. And tough shots is, why he gets paid the big bucks. And this time he just gets a nice, turnaround fadeaway against Toumani Camara, one of the better defenders as well, wing defenders. Nothing wrong with Portland, what Portland did, but they all have space. They're all spacing the floor. Amen's the only one maybe that defenses don't respect as much from the 3-point line, but Sengun they got to respect this year. Jabari, of course, and Okogie's been shooting well, so he has the most space. In Phoenix, they had some tough times, especially spreading the floor and having a good center on the same floor as him. He kind of had to do too much in terms of posting up, in terms of rim protection, even some playmaking. So now KD's role, I feel like, is very simplified in this system, especially at his age. It's really helped his game a lot. See, this time, Amen, he gives Sengun even the space to dribble up the floor. Just a pretty simple screen by Jabari. Just gives Sengun some space. Nobody really steps up. He has a clear open, space. Nobody's, Klingon's late to contest, and Sengun just pulls up from that 3-pointer. And you can see they're down already, but even though they have a good defense, they're down. They need to come back in this game. It was back and forth in the first half, and then eventually Houston pulled away in the second half. Almost got like a 30-point lead, but they just kept, going at it, and eventually went on a crazy run. This time they just get a deflection. Portland tries to throw the ball up. Sengun gets a deflection. Jabari pushes it. Gets a 3-on-2, 4-on-2. Durant wide open wing, easy 3-pointer. This time Durant sets the screen for Sengun, and then Amen sets another screen. And KD can come off the screen as well from Amen. Sengun just sees some open space and decides to pull up that shot. They are one of the slowest teams in terms of pace. So they do, are slow in the half court and very measured and very you know, I guess they just think too much maybe on offense. But I mean, they are the number one offense, so you can't really criticize them. Partly and because they get so many possessions from offensive rebounds, so many athletes on the floor. But still impressive that they're that low in pace and still one of the best offenses. This time Amen just drives Jabari. They have to help off of Jabari. High pick and roll between Amen and Sengun. Amen gets a little bit of a step. Probably not the guy you want to help off of. Jabari Smith can either just stay in that corner or cuts at the right time as well and gets a free dunk. And Amen makes a nice, wraparound pass around Kamara. Shepherd at least brings some pace to their offense. I feel like he tries to push the pace, get some outlet passes, pull up threes in transition, so he does quicken the pace, I think, when he comes on the floor. But obviously he's still growing in his minutes and his feel for the game, feel for the NBA game. This time he hits Durant on the fast break, outlet pass. He gets an easy dunk. This time Jabari drives, shoots a mid-range shot. He misses, but like I said, one of the best offensive rebounding teams. He gets it back, gets some open space. That's a good shot for him. Klingenwood's kind of in a drop. Nobody picks him up on the offensive rebound, and people always say you get a lot of open threes off of offensive rebounds, and that's certainly true for them as well. This time Durant gets a high screen and roll. Almost at half court. He gets an and one, just driving into Robert Williams. That's just a tough shot by KD, and like I said, one of the best ISO scorers of all time, doing what he does best. This time, Men just drives it. He's almost waiting for like a pick and roll, but nobody comes. He's kind of waving it off. Steven is ready to maybe pounce on an offensive rebound, but Amen just goes all the way and drives past Shaedon Sharpe and is able to finish over Robert Williams as well. Nice little finger roll right there. Once again, their defense, of course, helping their offense. Defensive rebounds, pushing in transition, kicks it ahead to Amen Thompson. He gets the and one off of that. So unfortunate, Tariq, he's been shooting it like crazy too. I feel like he's been shooting like 50% from three, something like that. But he got injured recently, I think. KD, once again, one of the best ISO scorers, doing what he does best. Takes it on Chris Murray, and he gets the nice bank shot. Defense scrambles, gets some deflections. The draft, Reed Shepherd was highly touted for having good hands, steals, blocks, just getting in the passing lane. So that's what he did right there. This time KD comes off that screen, gets into another screen, gets the ball. Could have probably pulled up right there. He had a lot of open space. Comes off to a screen into another handoff. And that created a lot of space for him right there. Jeremy Grant trying to chase him around. Do-up Reed eventually late on the pickup. I feel like right there he could have rose up. It's floor spread. Perfect situation for him. Middle of the floor. But he decides to maybe just drive a little couple extra and take a step back and gets that jumper to fall. That's just some good quick passing. Looks like Blazers are playing a little bit of a zone, 3-2 zone. Shepherd to KD, KD to Sengun. That's just bad communication right there. Now Sengun's in a advantageous situation right here, but he kicks it right back out. He probably could have turned and threw Adams a lob, but he kicks it out back to Shepherd, and Shepherd gets some confidence. He gets a little spot up three right there. We know he can shoot the ball, but he's just been having to prove himself, I think, in Ime Udoka's eyes, and the more this season goes along, I feel like he will be an integral part, especially obviously with Van Vliet missing, probably the whole season. This time it looks like a zone as well. This time they do the double screen on both sides for KD. KD decides to just pass it out to Tari Eason. Like I said, he's been shooting crazy lights out from three, and he gets that three-pointer to fall. Looks like all these guys know what their role is. Some guys are facilitators, some guys are scorers, but they all seem to play the right way, and there's a reason why they're top 5 in offense and defense. Of course, their defense is what they've built this team on. All these athletes that they have, Amen Thompson, Tari, Jabari, even Steven Adams as a rim protector. Sengun's been getting better at defense. They're just on a roll right now, and they're looking scary, in the Western Conference. Western Conference is so nuts that they're on track for like 65 plus wins. But there's also 2 other teams in the Western Conference on track for like 65 plus wins. Like I said before, the Nuggets and the Thunder. So how far do you guys think the Rockets can go this season? Like I said, they're looking really good so far this year, and they've gelled even faster than I thought. But they've made his role simple, and all these guys are almost taking a leap as well with him on the team. So Amen's getting better, Jabari's getting better, Sengun's gotten better. So yeah, they have a really strong core four, and good supplementary pieces around it. So thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like the video, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.